Greetings, inquisitive minds. In 1929, Carl Panzram found himself incarcerated at the U.S. Penitentiary in Leavenworth, Kansas. Panzram's violent and defiant behavior led him to clashes with the prison staff. Robert Warnke, a 39-year-old prison employee, was assigned to work in the prison laundry, where Panzram's violent tendencies would eventually intersect with his fate. The murder. On June 20th, 1929, Panzram saw an opportunity to exact his hatred and violence on Robert Warnke. As Warnke entered the prison's carpentry shop, Panzram attacked him from behind, striking him repeatedly with a heavy iron bar. Warnke's injuries were severe, and Panzram left him to die in a pool of blood. Attempted escape. After killing Warnke, Panzram made a daring attempt to escape from Leavenworth. He set fire to the carpentry shop, hoping that the chaos would provide cover for his escape. However, his plan was thwarted by the rapid response of the prison staff, and he was quickly captured. Unrepentant confession. Following his arrest, Panzram showed no remorse for his actions. In fact, he took pride in his violent tendencies and the lives he had taken. During his time in prison, he provided chilling and detailed confessions of his crimes, including the murder of Robert Warnke. His lack of remorse and his openness about his atrocities shocked both the prison authorities and the public. Legal proceedings. Carl Panzram's confession to the murder of Robert Warnke, along with his other crimes, led to his eventual conviction. He was sentenced to death and was executed by hanging on September 5, 1930, at the age of 39. His execution marked the end of a life marked by violence, hatred, and brutality. Legacy. Carl Panzram's crimes and lack of remorse made him one of the most infamous and chilling serial killers in history. His brutal murder of Robert Warnke was just one of many acts of violence he committed throughout his criminal career. His story serves as a dark reminder of the capacity for evil that some individuals can possess and the devastation they leave in their wake. Carl Panzram was born in East Grand Forks, Minnesota. He grew up in a harsh and abusive environment, marked by poverty, neglect, and violence. His father was an alcoholic who regularly beat him, and his mother died when he was young. The lack of stability and love in his early years contributed to the formation of his violent and antisocial tendencies. Early criminal activities. Panzram's life of crime began early. By his teenage years, he was already engaging in burglaries, thefts, and acts of vandalism. He was arrested multiple times for these offenses and was sent to various reform schools and institutions, but his behavior continued to escalate. Criminal career and imprisonment. As he grew older, Panzram's criminal activities intensified. He engaged in a series of burglaries, robberies, and arsons across the United States. His violent tendencies also manifested in acts of assault and rape. Panzram's criminal record eventually led him to be incarcerated in several prisons, where his violent behavior and hostility towards authority figures continued. Murder and confessions. One of the most chilling aspects of Panzram's criminal history was his lack of remorse. In his autobiography, written while on death row, he confessed to committing over 20 murders, numerous sexual assaults, and countless acts of arson and theft. His confessions detailed his crimes with a disturbing level of detail and a complete absence of remorse. The murder of Robert Warnke. In 1929, while incarcerated at the U.S. Penitentiary in Leavenworth, Kansas, Panzram killed Robert Warnke, a prison employee. Panzram ambushed Warnke in the carpentry shop, striking him repeatedly with an iron bar. This act of violence showcased Panzram's brutality and his lack of empathy towards his victims. Execution. After being convicted of his crimes and receiving multiple sentences, including a death sentence for the murder of Robert Warnke, Panzram was executed by hanging on September 5, 1930. His final words reportedly included his disdain for humanity and a curse on the world. Legacy. Carl Panzram's life and crimes continue to capture the attention of criminologists, psychologists, and true crime enthusiasts. His story stands as a stark reminder of the darkness that can emerge from a traumatic and abusive upbringing, as well as the chilling capacity for violence that some individuals possess. Some intriguing and unsettling facts about Carl Panzram. Self-described monster. Panzram often referred to himself as a monster and believed that he was beyond redemption. He took pride in his criminal activities and showed no remorse for his violent actions. Autobiography. While in prison awaiting execution, Panzram wrote an autobiography titled Killer, A Journal of Murder. In this chilling account, he detailed his crimes, thoughts, and motivations with disturbing clarity and lack of empathy. Educational pursuits. Despite his troubled upbringing and criminal tendencies, Panzram had an intellectual side. He was known to be well-read and articulate, which contrasted with the brutality of his actions. Defiant Attitude. Throughout his criminal career and incarceration, Panzram maintained a defiant attitude towards authority figures. He resisted prison rules, frequently clashed with guards, and often plotted escapes, boat theft, and arson. Panzram's criminal activities extended beyond land. He once stole a boat, set it on fire, and watched it burn as a form of entertainment. Vivid confessions. Panzram's confessions were detailed and vivid. He provided chilling accounts of his crimes, describing them in gruesome detail without any sign of remorse or guilt. Philosophical views. Panzram developed a nihilistic and misanthropic worldview, believing that humanity was inherently evil and deserving of punishment. His disdain for society and his fellow humans was a recurring theme in his writings. Multiple escapes. Panzram managed to escape from prison multiple times. His escapes were often short-lived due to his inability to stay hidden or his tendency to engage in criminal activities soon after fleeing. Final words. Before his execution, when asked if he had any last words, Panzram reportedly replied, "Yes, hurry it up, you Hoosier bastard. I could kill a dozen men while you're screwing around." Impact on criminal profiling. Panzram's case and his lack of remorse played a role in shaping the field of criminal profiling. His extreme behavior and the insight he provided into his thoughts and motivations offered valuable information to those studying criminal psychology. Carl Panzram's story is a haunting reminder of the complex interplay between nature and nurture, as well as the potential for extreme violence to emerge from a combination of traumatic experiences and psychological factors.